Mortal Kombat is the brand new HBO Max simultaneous and in theaters release. And this is the second movie since the pandemic that I've seen in a movie theater. And this one I saw in IMAX. The film stars Louis Tan, Jessica Manami, Josh Lawson, Joe Townsend, Makad Brooks, Laura Brent, Matilda Kimber, and a lot more people. And tells a story about the MMA fighter Cole Young, who's washed up, seeks out Earth's greatest champions in order to stand against the enemies of Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. The film is an hour and 15 minutes long and is rated R. Welcome back to a brand new HBO Max and movie theater review here on Max Talk Movies. Today I'm talking Mortal Kombat, one of the more anticipated video game movies in a long time. Let's talk about it here in the comment section down below. If you've already seen this, let me know. First of all, did you see this on your TV streaming? Did you watch this on HBO Max, or did you go to a movie theater to check out this film? Please like the video as well, and also let me know if you have seen the film. Your thoughts, non-spoiler. Did you like the film? Not like it. Is this your favorite video game movie of all time? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you're new to the channel, I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, streaming platform reviews, and movie rankings. So please ring that bell for notifications. It's my third review of the day. I've already done Falcon Winter Soldier and Invincible today. So now we're talking movie. And let's talk right now, Mortal Kombat. So I am a huge video game person. I see a lot of the video game movies. Probably Detective Pikachu is probably the most fun I've had with a video game movie. And Assassin's Creed has probably been the most disappointing experience I've had watching a video game that I truly love in a theater. Now, this film I was excited for because I heard everyone loves Mortal Kombat. I know a lot of people that love these games. Obviously, it's one of the most popular games of all time. But for me, I never played the games. I've seen people play the games recently. So I was familiar with some of the characters, especially Sub-Zero, heading into the movie, but I don't have any personal attachment to any of the characters. So I was just judging it on the film itself. And first off, the positive. The main positive with the movie is that it's rated R, so it keeps the same violence I see in the games into a movie. And the action scenes are really good in this movie. There's a lot of great choreography between the fight scenes in the movie, especially the opening fight scene, which is really brilliant and was a really fun way to start the film. And then the last, I would say 15 minutes of the film also has some really good action. And really the first act and the third act, really the first 15 minutes and the last 25 minutes are completely just action, which I was totally cool with, and it made the film more enjoyable. Some of these actors I've never seen before. Louis Tan, who plays the main character, Cole Young, he was fine in the movie as well. But there's some Josh Lawson, who plays Kano in this movie. He was probably the best character, or the most fun character I had with in the entire film. He is an obnoxious, he talks a lot of trash, and because he's full of it. And his character got the most laughs in my theater, and he was clearly the funniest part of the entire film. He was really in the movie just to be funny, which I was totally cool with his jokes. I chuckled 3 or 4 times during his jokes during the film. So totally cool. Josh Lawson was my main cast standout with the film. Also, Joe Taslim as Sub-Zero was really good, and I think Sub-Zero for me was my favorite character to watch in the film. Now, he's obviously now after watching the games, I haven't played the games. Sub-Zero was always my favorite character. So was expecting some big things. He was heavily promoted in the promotion, and he is in the movie a lot more than I thought, even though he really is the main villain. He's working for Chin Han, for one of the realms. So he really isn't the head, but he's definitely the main warrior, and his character connects to the overall story more than Chin Han's character. And because of his connection to his fight in the opening scene and then his relevance to Cole Young, Sub-Zero was, first of all, the action with the ice. It was really brilliant stuff. And I enjoyed those scenes as well. As I said, that character, that Josh Lawson played, Kano, was definitely funny. As I said, the action was fun. The movie itself was never boring. I was never bored during this runtime. There was so much, and the film also looked really, really beautiful. Some of the shots of other realms really worked, and when Sub-Zero came to Earth, a lot of the way they used his powers on Earth also made a lot of sense. So the film, in my opinion, just looked really cool, had a really good score that made the film feel at times epic, which I did enjoy about the film. But I do want to get into some negatives here because, as I've been very positive, there are definitely some negatives with the movie, and that really is the story. It really isn't that interesting of the story, and it feels like the directors knew that and just wanted to rush to the action scenes. Now, some people are going to forget it. This movie are not coming here for the story. They're coming to see your favorite video game characters come to life, and that's in the movie. But for me, the main issue with these video game movies is that they struggle to have a story that can really hook you emotionally. And I wasn't emotionally invested into any character really in the movie, except the main two people you see on screen, which was Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Other than that, and Scorpion isn't in the movie that much. So I did feel like their fight scenes are brilliant. But in general, there's a lot of characters that just feel force-fed into the movie. And I think that they made a wrong choice of making Cole Young the main focus of the film, because we've seen tons of movies, not just video game movies. And yes, video game movies have used this plot as well, but movies in general where Cole Young basically plays a character who has lineage of one of the main characters in Mortal Kombat. He's living in the United States, in Chicago, I believe, has a wife and a kid, and doesn't know his lineage, and then has to learn how he gets his powers. And it feels like we've seen that type of movie, that plot, too many times, and his connective tissue with the main plot did not make a lot of sense. Well, not made a lot of sense. It was just very predictable and something that is not main character worthy, in my opinion. His character, he was an MMA fighter, and in the first act of the film, when it was trying to balance his MMA story with the Mortal Kombat world, it never really clicked to me tonally. We went from these grand locations in the realms of Mortal Kombat to Chicago with him fighting someone in an MMA ring, or him out to dinner. Those tones and those locations just did not clash, going back and forth to each other. Also, one of my issues with the movie is a little minor critique. Not a lot of people are going to catch this, but I was not a huge fan of the editing of some of the scenes. And that also goes to a rushed story, because the story is so rushed. We're introduced to characters instantly. They give a 30-second to a minute background on themselves, and then they're on the journey. It never really felt like you could sit down with any of these characters and have any investment, because you don't care about these characters that much unless you're that devoted to these characters from the video games. But from someone who's not familiar with the games that much, I needed more story with these characters. And also, it does set up a sequel in the last 10 minutes of the film. That's not a spoiler. Everyone's talking about that. It does kind of feel like a setup, because something doesn't really get finished in this film, and you can tell that they want to make another film. So for me, guys, I had a lot of fun with the action scenes. Sub-Zero was must watch, and I was on the edge of my seat every time Sub-Zero was on screen. Definitely my favorite character by far in the entire film. Definitely my favorite character in the games as well. But overall, the rest of these characters just don't get enough to do. The head of the Earth Realm and Lin Chan's character, they do basically nothing except talk the entire film. And for them to be leaders of their realms, it did not work for me. The actual interesting, again, it's an action-heavy movie. It's rated R, so there's cursing, and the violence is really grotesque, but in a good way. I love the violence in the film. And I was like, wow, a couple of times how violent some of the kills were. But for me, the story just was not there. It was a very rushed story just to get to action set pieces. There were lines that were so cheesy that I couldn't believe were in the movie. And a main character who I just wasn't connected with, because I've seen that character done a billion times. Not the fault of the actor. Just Cole himself was a very one-dimensional character, as were most of the characters in the film. So I'm going to give Mortal Kombat a 3 out of 5 stars, a 64%, guys. I gave this the same score as Godzilla vs. Kong. I had a really fun time with the action set pieces. It looks great. The CGI is great. The violence in this movie is excellent. But for me, the story really holds us back from being the best video game movie that I've ever seen. So Would I see a sequel? I absolutely would. There's more things to dive into in this world, and I can't get into who's going to make it into the next film based on spoilers, but I am excited. I would go see a sequel and be interested in the sequel. But again, I don't have any emotional connection to the game. So let me know your thoughts. If you've played the games, tell me how pumped are you to check this one out? Have you already seen it? Tell me, do you disagree or agree with me in the comment section down below? Like, subscribe, share. 3 reviews. We're done. See you guys.